Mr. Bigsby can't be in a room with 4 women, but more than 4 women and less than 4 women is fine. I have to escort Mr. Bigsby around city centers and towns as he struggles to live alone. I have to show him and help him with majority of the everyday stuff in life. For the most part Mr. Bigsby is fine with everything, but the only thing with Mr. Bigsby is that he can go inside any place where there are 4 women. I mean, if the building or whatever other place has less than 4 or more than 4 women, then he is fine, but if there are exactly 4 women inside any place and Mr. Bigsby is present, then like an allergic reaction Mr. Bigsby will be close to death. So looking after Mr. Bigsby is pretty simple, and I am always super careful to find places where there are either less than 4 women or more than 4 women. It's always if there are only 4 women in a room with Mr. Bigsby present, then he will suffer. I never really asked why, and it's such a random number and I don't want to find out what would happen to him. Also, why is it just 4 women and not 5 or 3? I guess the saying curiosity killed the cat will be relevant here. It is a good job, and Mr. Bigsby is generally very nice and straightforward. There are times where I want to take him into a building where there are only 4 women in it and I want to see what would happen to him. I heard that the last guy who was looking after Mr. Bigsby, he couldn't count properly and he took Mr. Bigsby into a building with 4 women in it. Mr. Bigsby nearly died and he was fired. I mean, how did that guy get the job if he can't count properly? Anyhow, my curiosity was getting the better of me, and when I was taking Mr. Bigsby somewhere, I saw a cafe with just 4 women in it. I saw a cafe which had higher number of women in it and some had less than 4 women in it, but I wanted to see what would happen to him if he went inside a place with just 4 women in it. I couldn't help it and I helped him and escorted him into that cafe with just 4 women inside. I felt bad, but I just needed to see. I completely regretted it, and he collapsed to the ground and started shaking in pain. His body started twitching and growing lumps, and then his body created a woman to come out of him to add to the number of women. Now that there were 5 women, he was fine. I apologized profusely and he accepted my apology as I had never messed up before. Then 1 woman in the cafe had left and it was back to being 4 women in a cafe. Then Mr. Bigsby started to collapse in pain. This time something sharp came out of Biff's body and spat out something highly acidic onto a woman inside the cafe, which completely evaporated her into dust. Now there were 3 women and Mr. Bigsby was fine. I decided to take him out of there.